Hello and welcome to another edition of the Weekend Wrap-Up. I'm Jurnee Taylor. This week we begin at the state capitol where state leaders and lawmakers kicked off the 95th General Assembly. The session started on Monday with the swearing in of lawmakers, but it was Tuesday's State of the State address that got the attention of Arkansans.
Education, cost of living, public safety. Those are the priorities that have defined the first 2 years of my administration. And with your help, those are the priorities that will define the next 2 as well.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders laid out her plans for the session, introducing new ideas and reaffirming old initiatives. Some of the highlights: eliminating the grocery tax, expanding education access beyond college, continue focusing on maternal health, and pushing her plan to build a new prison and add more beds. And it was the push to eliminate Arkansas's grocery tax that really got people talking this week. But what exactly does that mean, and how will it impact you in our state? Rebecca Brown found out.
We can and we will eliminate it this session.
Every dollar matters to working Arkansans. That was the message Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders hit over and over again during Monday's State of the State address. And it's the idea that has her pushing lawmakers to end the state's grocery tax.
It will be a savings to consumers across the state of about $10.5 million. And so that's a big number. You know, it's money that goes right back in our customers' pockets.
Right now, the tax on groceries in the state is 1/8 of a cent. Steve Good with the Arkansas Retailers Association says while the idea is great for consumers, it could be costly to state entities.
Game and Fish, Parks and Tourism, the Department of Heritage. So there will be about a $10.5 million shortfall with those 3 agencies.
Good is in a unique position as he also represents the Game and Fish Foundation. He says he recognizes the needs of the people in Arkansas, but hopes there can be a solution that's best for everyone.
I think Game and Fish gets 45% of that, about $4.5 million, and then the other 2 split the other 55%. And so, hopefully the legislative body will work with those state agencies and figure out a way to replace those funds.
As for the driving factors behind the push to eliminate the tax, Associate Professor of Economics at UCA, Dr. Jurnee Taylor, says the 2 biggest are cost of living and inflation.
Especially prices on food and groceries, those are up 23% over the past 4 years on average, and some things like eggs are up even more than that.
He says doing away with the tax could be a big help, especially for low-income families.
Lower income families will spend more of their income on groceries, so they're paying more of this tax than for another tax. So an income tax, that's paid more by high income people. This is going to be paid more by low income people. So I think she's using that term to kind of say, we've done things to help out higher income Arkansans. What can we do to help out middle and lower class now as well?
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV11 News.
Well, Rebecca actually got the chance to sit down with Governor Sanders this week where they discussed the proposal. They also talked about her plan to build a prison in Franklin County, among other topics she brought up during her State of the State address. You can find that full interview right now on our website. That's THV11.com and on our YouTube channel. But those weren't the only things talked about during the first week of the session. The Senate and the House started looking at bills and assigning them to committees. Democrats only make up a small part of Arkansas's House of Representatives, but they still have big hopes for this legislative session. Carter Threets spoke with the House Minority Leader on 2 bills they filed to protect children online.
I believe we filed around 40 bills collectively. They came through me because I'm the Minority Leader, but they are ultimately by the caucus collectively.
House Minority Leader Andrew Collins says bills filed under his name this legislative session are a group effort by House Democrats. The bills cover a wide range of subjects, but generally the focus is on 4 different areas.
House Democrats developed 4 priorities entering the session: maternal health, public education, mental health, and defending our democracy.
And under the mental health umbrella, 2 different bills aimed at protecting kids in an increasingly online world. The first is known as the Arkansas Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act.
It makes sure that if you're collecting information from kids online, that the kid or the family has given consent. It also creates a mechanism for a family, a parent, or a child to erase personal information that there may be out there about their child online.
The second is known as the Arkansas Kids Online Safety Act, and among other things, it would put more responsibility on social media companies regarding how kids can use the platform. Collins says there's a lot of concern that smartphones and social media have impacted kids' mental health, and these bills could provide solutions.
I think we can have better outcomes for our kids, which really is paramount. It's most important to make sure that we're giving our kids the opportunity to lead healthy lives, and that starts with mental health.
As far as the bill's chances of passing, Collins says he's optimistic. He pointed to the fact that in her State of the State address yesterday, the governor said she wanted to take phones out of schools and blamed unrestricted phone and social media access for kids' mental health problems.
This is not a partisan issue, and my hope is that we can get some support and get these Arkansas bills done.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV11 News.
Both of those bills have gone through first and second readings and are now in a committee. There's been a deadly rash of fires across the region just since New Year's Eve. At least 10 people have died in their home or apartment, and first responders say that's too many. Brooke Buckner shares some tips from experts as we all try to stay warm ahead of next week's Arctic blast.
Any loss of life is tragic.
Not being able to help. It's something firefighters carry with them, even on their off hours.
It is our job, but at the end of the day, we're all still human.
Little Rock Fire Captain Jacob Lear-Sadowski says it's common to see more fires during the winter months as people find ways to stay warm. But in just 3 weeks, 3 people in the city lost their lives.
It is a higher number than we'd like. We'd like to see 0 for the year. That's the only time you'd really want to see 0 on anything is for fatalities.
He's now once again urging people to heat their homes the correct way to avoid similar situations.
Using your oven as a source of heat is not acceptable and is not recommended whatsoever. We do not want people using extension cords for space heaters. Also keeping a 3-foot buffer zone around your space heaters for combustible materials.
Another tip, making sure you have working smoke detectors, something so critical that both LRFD and Red Cross will install them for you at no cost.
We're really focused on preventing that fatality, and that fire alarm going off, making sure that you have plenty of them and that they remain tested and that they're capable is, for a lot of folks, the difference in making it out in time or not.
Guy Riggins with Red Cross says they're staying busy rehousing people affected by the recent fires.
We've certainly noticed the increase in these fires, particularly those fatal ones, and our hearts sure go out to the families, and it's heavy for us to work with these cases as well.
And he says they'll continue to offer their resources to those who need it most, but could use some extra help.
We see a lot of burnout with volunteers that deal with these types of things, and so folks that want to get involved with their community and help people in these times of crisis are really what we're looking for.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV11 News.
You can find details on how to get a free smoke detector installed in your home on this story, THV11.com. Meanwhile, the state's 911 board has been trying to streamline the sensors that answer the phone when we call for help. The process has consolidated most city and county dispatch centers, except for a stubborn dispute in Hot Springs and Garland County. Maya Ellison takes a closer look at how the board is trying to bring the Spa City into the fold.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye. The Arkansas 911 Board held its first meeting of 2025 on Thursday. Board members met at the Saline County Emergency Communications Center, gathering with various county and city leaders to discuss January's agenda. But there was one topic that was left up without a conclusion.
We can go on to next one under new business is Garland County, City of Hot Springs, PSAP funding.
We came up with 15 counties that there were multiple 911 centers that needed to be reduced down to ultimately reduce the number of 911 call transfers. For Garland County, it was identified to go down to 1 911 center.
Arkansas 911 Board Executive Director C.J. Ingalls said Garland County submitted a consolidation plan in December of 2022, with an expected deadline to consolidate with Hot Springs by January 1st, 2025. That date passed and
no consolidation progress has been made. No extension was requested or given.
Both 911 centers are less than 1 mile apart from each other. As of Thursday, the board has not heard from Hot Springs directly on their decision to consolidate.
We just were not able to work with our partners with the City of Hot Springs in order to come to a successful consolidation agreement.
Without a plan in place and budget still listed for both counties, board members are left in a bind.
The issue at hand is that we have to make a decision what to do with Garland County's funding.
In Thursday's meeting, officials discussed previous occurrences of Hot Springs allegedly opting out of PSAP's consolidation plan.
The city hasn't decided if it will maintain a separate dispatch center from Garland County and forego state funding.
But Garland County's Director of Emergency Management, Bo Robertson, cleared a few things up.
That was never conveyed to the county one way or the other as to whether or not, yes, we are going to consolidate like the plan is presented in December of 22.
Without a definite plan in place, the board stated that each party's PCAPs will be reconfigured, leaving Hot Springs to bear the consequences.
So Hot Springs, in theory, with a decision to just fund Garland County's 911 center, would ultimately be responsible or would lose $500,000 a year in 911 fees.
In Saline County, Maya Ellison, THV11 News.
Well, the board voted to table the agenda item until its meeting next month. As for the next steps, the board says it wants the Attorney General to look at the situation before voting on it. Hundreds of thousands of people will gather on the National Mall in Washington Monday to witness the second inauguration of Donald Trump. It's a massive challenge to ensure everyone will be safe. Nicole Scanga got an exclusive look at how security officials are preparing after months of planning.
So, crane to your left.
Got it. From only 150 feet in the air, pilots dodge buildings.
And tower on your left side.
Got it. Flying in a grid over the National Mall to scan for radiological or nuclear irregularities, threats like dirty bombs.
So you're trying to create a blueprint of what the radiation in Washington, D.C. looks like ahead of the inauguration. Correct.
Department of Energy scientist Jacqueline Brandon calls this low-flying helicopter one of just two of its kind, her office.
If we find a radiological irregularity, we'll investigate it even further.
Highly sensitive technology sets off alarms in the air.
That's an alarm. That is an alarm. It's a slight variation in our spectra is what it's saying.
On the ground, a mission led and meticulously rehearsed by the U.S. Secret Service at their training facility in Maryland.
This right here where we're standing is Pennsylvania Avenue.
Today it is Pennsylvania Avenue. Tomorrow it will become a speed racetrack for some of our uniformed division officers that are coming through.
Agents role-playing worst-case scenarios.
Can we try a vehicle having a flat tire? Can we try someone having a heart attack? These are all the things we want to mentally prepare for because we have an immediate action for all those things.
Michael Thomas is the coordinator for the big day.
This is the largest event for the U.S. Secret Service in history.
It is. The amount of fencing and the amount of personnel that we bring in for this inauguration eclipses all other inaugurations that we have.
About 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel will safeguard the inauguration, including 7,800 National Guard authorized to protect the nation's capital and its 250,000 ticketed guests. Throughout the city, a ring of steel, 30 miles of anti-scale fencing. And along the icy Potomac, more than 25 Coast Guard vessels lined up.
Ready to deploy.
Ready to deploy.
Captain Patrick Burkett says teams are now prepping frozen waterways for patrol after a recent storm.
That put a lot of strain and stress on our resources and our personnel, and everyone knew that January was going to be a busy month.
Dubbed a national special security event demanding the highest level of federal protection, the inauguration comes just days after two others, January 6th electoral count and former President Jimmy Carter's funeral.
We had 3 national special security events in the course of 15 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never happened before.
No. As in a year of unprecedented events, this just continued to keep us going on the unprecedented events. We feel like we have a very good plan. We feel very confident that we are going to provide a very secure environment.
Well, we're going to have extensive coverage of Inauguration Day right here on THV11+. Tune in Monday to follow the ceremony and everything that follows. Nowadays, college athletes are given sweet deals for their name, image, and likeness. After the break, we're looking at more than $1 billion spent on student athletes and why it's raising ethical questions. But first, A tax season verified from Karen Fuller.
Taxes can seem like a never-ending maze full of twists and turns as tax laws get updated each season. For people expecting a refund, getting to the finish line is an important day, and those who fail to make a deadline can face hefty fines or worse. April 15th is still a couple of months away, but one viewer wonders if it's true that you can go ahead and file your taxes in January. Let's verify. Our sources are the AARP, the IRS, and MarketWatch.com's personal finance section. The IRS will begin accepting and processing new returns the week of January 27th this year. The IRS says most taxpayers will receive refunds within 21 days of when they file electronically, barring any issues with processing. The agency adds e-filing with your bank set up for direct deposit is the fastest way to get your refund. In 2024, the average refund for tax year 2023 was just over $3,000. One deadline that's already here is January 15th, when taxpayers who make quarterly estimated payments must pay the final installment for the fourth quarter of 2024. This is typically taxes on income sources like unemployment benefits, self-employment income, and annuities. So we can verify that, yes, filers who have all the necessary documentation can file beginning on January 27th. One other deadline is for your employer. The IRS says workers are to receive their W-2 forms showing wages and tips from last year plus federal and state withholdings by January 31st. Independent contractors should be on the lookout for Form 1099 NEC. It is also due to the employee by the 31st.
With the college football championship game less than a week away, we're taking time to examine college sports. It's been 3.5 years since athletes have been able to be paid above board, and it's permanently changed college sports. But as Scott McFarland found out, the change in the money haven't been spread around equally.
Come on! Come on, Larry! Atlanta!
This is Coach Greg Campy in his element.
Triple team fadeaway jumper, good from Trey!
His Oakland University Golden Grizzlies shocked the basketball world last year when the 13-point underdogs toppled perennial powerhouse Kentucky in the NCAA tournament.
There's nobody in the country that doesn't know what Oakland basketball is.
Greg Campy, the head coach at Oakland University in his first season.
The biggest win in his 41 years at Oakland. But now, Campy says, his biggest challenge comes off the court.
I spend my summers trying to raise money so I can buy players. Can you imagine college coaches are now saying that because it's true?
Forget the old definition of amateur athlete. College athletes can now make millions before ever going pro, thanks to a set of NCAA rules called the NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness. Since 2021, any athlete, especially big stars like Shedeur Sanders and Caitlin Clark, can profit from commercial endorsements, jersey sales, even autograph sessions. What's really changing the game, though, is another part of the program that's morphed into a monster.
Let him shoot that shot.
Athletes getting paid just to play.
When you recruit a player now, how early in the conversation does that player start asking about money?
It's initial. It's right at the start.
Right off the bat.
Right off the start.
Schools are tapping deep-pocketed alums and donors to pay millions to high-level athletes, launching bidding wars for recruits and raids by schools on each other's rosters.
Go, go!
3 of Campy's best players transferred to programs with more money shortly after last year's tournament success.
Some Power 5 comes in and offers him $500,000. I can't offer him that. So how do I tell a kid, don't go take $500,000?
So how big is this NIL money? It is very big. In 2024, an estimated $1.67 billion was spent on student athletes, and most of it on men's sports. More than $1 billion estimated on college football and about $390 million for college basketball.
So much money is leaping toward the 2 big men's sports. Sports that don't earn a profit are in danger of shrinking.
I didn't get into track and field for the money.
Jaden O'Brien is a 2-time national champion at Notre Dame. She's grateful for the endorsement money, but it's about 1/3 of what the average football player makes.
I love the sport and I'm good at it. and if I make a little money on the side, that's great.
I'm not the old man yelling at the cloud, okay? I'm not that old guy. I want to be part of the solution.
Campy now plays teams that can spend millions more than Oakland and worries college sports may be headed toward an era of haves and have-nots.
I think that panic right now is that you're going to see the same 68 teams in the NCAA tournament every year. You're going to see the same 12 teams in college football playoff every year. And I think the true fans, that's a panic.
A flood of money that could steal the slipper from Cinderella. For Eye on America, Scott McFarland, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Well, NIL is a popular topic on Ludy's Look Back. It's our weekly show where Nick Luttrell looks back at the week in Arkansas sports. You can watch it right here on THV11 Plus every Monday at 3 o'clock. Well, what are a group of Virginia teenagers doing hanging out at a senior living center? Baking cookies, sharing smiles, and lending an ear. A story that's sure to inspire still ahead, but first, it's time to eat it up.
I don't need to tell y'all it is cold outside, so we got to get inside, and we're heating things up on Eat It Up this week. We've got soups, we've got salads, and bread, and more bread. So what do you say? Let's heat it up.
We are a bakery first. The top seller for sure is our breads is going to be the cranberry pecan. But we're a cafe a very close second. It's the neighborhood bakery. Whenever I see a face for like the third time, I like to go, wait a minute, what's your name? We got to know each other. There's something for everybody. Like I like the savory stuff, the savory cheesy stuff. Our biggest seller sandwich is the chicken salad sandwich.
Okay.
And but there's a lot of close seconds. Turkey Swiss apple, that's a big one too. Soups and salads, we try to keep it simple, and it also kind of stands out because of its simplicity. There's something about kind of knowing the neighborhood, you know, that this has done for me that I don't think most jobs would.
And family business too. I love seeing your kids here.
They're usually here at some point in the day.
This is how Andrew becomes your new best friend, and how you winterize your home too, with scones. When I like think of a perfect January meal, this is your perfect January meal. You can feel the heat coming off the soup. You got the sandwiches left and right. Oh my gosh, soup is incredible, but I love me a good sandwich. Perfect. You can do the pick two, and you got your option of three. You can do soup, salad, sandwich, pick two of those. Perfect lunch. Cranberry pecan, anybody? A little chicken salad? Yeah, we're not just putting this on your wonder, okay? This is the real deal. So amazing. And I love me a BLT. It's perfect. We have folks in here who literally come just for the scones. The amazing cinnamon roll, gooey deliciousness. It just makes your day. Full disclosure, I bought these scones because they were highly recommended, and all I've heard about is amazing things about these scones from our wife to take home. So, in the respect of wanting to stay married, I will not be eating these right now. I will take them home to my wife and let her enjoy them.
We end the week with a group of Virginia teenagers bringing a whole new meaning to the term extracurricular activities. They're using their time to make a positive impact that crosses generations. Sean Martinelli shows us how.
What's your name? My name is Wade. Nice to meet you.
If teenagers are looking for fun, this would be the last place most would come.
Oh, wow.
A senior living home is not your typical high school hangout, unless you're these high school students.
What a mess.
Today, they come bearing connection and cookies.
Well, I like cookies.
You've heard of the generational divide. This is Generation Union.
But I actually heard of it through Instagram. Just meeting new people, I've just learned so much about their life. I kind of just kept coming and coming, so every time there's one, I always want to come.
The program encourages students to spend time with seniors. Visits like this help keep spirits high, even if hearing remains low.
Are you gonna eat your cookie? Sorry. Are you gonna eat your cookie?
What started at one Virginia high school has blossomed into different chapters across America. And in the pictures, you can see the impact, the smiles, the hugs.
Yeah, it's great.
Nancy Wright's mom, Pat, is in memory care. Visitors like these don't come often.
And the kids are good.
This was a nice surprise.
Thank you.
Nice for both the seniors and students like Dia Shaman.
I'm from India. I actually moved here like 4th grade, but all of my family, all my older family lives in India.
Including Dia's grandparents. Here she found new friends, family, and fulfillment.
It's nice to know that I'm making an impact, that I'm helping someone else beyond myself. It's not much, but it's something.
Although through the simple act of showing up, it's everything. In McLean, Virginia, Sean Martinelli, WUSA 9.
Well, another installment of the weekend wrap-up now in the books. Thanks for joining us here on THV11 Plus. We'll see you next week.